Why am I here in the middle of the night, somewhere that looks like nothing we've ever imagined, and troubling me with bear traps? Trust me, I've been asking myself the same questions for some days now. I'm sure that I have a pretty good reason behind this entire ruckus. But as I searched my mind for some plausible reasons, all I could think about was that time when Lisa was smacking my shoulder with the bottle she was holding. I was washing my old car's engine and not paying much attention to her.
Aw, crap. What happened to this part now? Didn't we repair it last month?
I munched the last peanut in my mouth and tried to scrape the dirt off on the parts of the engine. Her smacking sped up with my unresponsive ass, who was too tired to look up at her shocked and struck face. Therefore, I responded as any man in his late 30s would.
Heck, what's wrong, woman?
And I snatched away her empty water bottle.
Want me to throw it away? Fine. There, happy now? What's wrong?
My macho voice dropped to the average Joe's as I looked at her face. She looked like she had seen a ghost and was constantly staring at the newspaper. I got up from the chair and shared her view. I must admit that I literally dropped my jaw too. What? At last she yelled while clenching the newspaper in both hands.
What? Why? This can't be happening to us, right? Let me see.
This is the paper for today, right? You're not mistaken, I was mumbling.
Duh, you nearly fell this morning due to the newspaper. Remember yelling at the top of your lungs? Why the heck this paper guy throws the newspaper in my feet, remember? It happened right there in the door. Fuck, calm down, Lisa, you damn idiot. Calm yourself.
Then, of course, she gave a heart-wrenching, blood-curdling, sharp-pitched shriek that almost summoned the demon lord of the underworld and startled me to my bones.
I have a weak heart. Ugh, try to consider it for God's sakes,
I said while holding my chest.
Roy, how could this be true? We were never lucky. How on earth we won the lottery and a fucking $20 million of it? How?
She clearly did not even pay attention to a word.
You have a point though, Lisa. Let me check it again. This is frickin' too splendid to be true.
I snatched the lottery ticket and matched the numbers. Somehow, the numbers looked familiar.
1, 4, 1, 4? Holy shit, it's true. Hey, Lisa, why do these numbers look eerie? I've got this feeling as if I've seen those numbers somewhere.
I was scratching my head when she composed herself back to her normal Lisa version and replied,
Oh, Roy, stop being dramatic, duh. It's your shoe size. No wonder it would give you the creeps. You've been traumatized like a teenage girl over a bad hair day for more than half your life due to this number.
She just opened the lid of my emotional wound jar. I absolutely, positively hate that number. It was my damn shoe size, the origin of my miserable school life. At that time, all the kids made fun of me because of my shoes. I had rather large feet. Well, larger than average, you can say. Moreover, where I lived, there were few shoe stores that could offer my shoe size, and these damn feet grew so fast. It was not a wonder why every kid at my school used to tease me with the nasty name of Bigfoot.
Ugh!
I shrugged with the cold memories of the past and felt goosebumps.
Yeesh. I don't want to hear why you wrote these particular numbers, though. Let's just focus on what we can do with our fortune.
I tapped my cheeks to refocus on the present scenario.
Of course, we'll have plenty of time to think about that after we get our hands on our money, of course.
Lisa's eyes were shining between her short hairs.
Let's do that first thing in the morning, shall we?
I clapped my fist on my palm because nothing's gonna come between our money and us. We couldn't sleep that night. I was already feeling like a rich person who was afraid to lose his precious ticket at the cost of mere luxury of peasants named sleep. I spent over 12 years of my life busting my ass working at a meatpacking company. Our life changed when my wife went out a few nights ago for some pizza, because of course we ate pizza, and we were not afraid of the fact that it caused us constipation. It's difficult to remind yourself that you're not in your 20s anymore. While picking up some beer for me and a bag of chips, Lisa took a shot at some lucky numbers needed to fill the last remaining 3 boxes on the ticket. She never told me about it, and especially those numbers I hate so much. Our luck started when Lisa remembered the numbers she picked when she witnessed the lottery numbers shown on the newspaper. My wife and I celebrated after finding out we had won $20 million. After taxes and all, we both decided to quit our jobs and walked away a cool $9 million. This system, I tell you, bloody capitalists. I think they mugged us, Lisa. How come we don't have more money? It's not even half of it. I was blabbered by my inner feelings while Lisa was setting her curls. She started doing it after we won the money. Maybe something to act rich, I guess. Hey, I think I should get some elite habit too. Would it make me look rich, huh? I put the paper and pencil aside. Yes, but first we need to save our lives, she explained. Therefore, she planned to buy some property at a healthy place and then start some business there. Lisa and I purchased an ocean view property in Myrtle Beach. We picked up a fixer, but we got a great deal on it, so we weren't in any rush to move into the property. We decided to pick up a brand new truck and custom vintage RV trailer for our cross-country journey. I could already imagine the fresh air in my head. We hit the road with full enthusiasm, but with each passing hour, our energy level lowered down to the point that it became impossible to stay on the road. We had been driving for over 8 hours, so we decided to pull off at the nearest RV park. Those parks came at some reasonable distance. We hadn't seen any RVs when we showed up, so we decided to crash there until morning. We drove for an extra half hour until we found a park. There! Lisa cried and shook my soul before it delved into deep slumber. We stopped in the park and it looked like there was a small town behind it. I searched everywhere, but there was no other RVs. We should check out the town too. Let's just make sure it's a friendly town or what. So we looked around the town. Some of the stores were opened and were of use to us. Looks like they've got many RVs coming and going here in the streets. Nobody looks bothered by us. I spotted a junkyard at a distance. Someone must have been having a barbecue, as there was a thin thread of smoke rising from the middle. Or maybe I was just hungry. It gave off a very vintage vibe. Funny how trash can affect our perception, though. We stopped our RV in the park and got out of the truck. I locked it carefully, taking a third time to check it before heading into the RV. I looked through the RV window where Lisa was cooking something. She wasn't looking at me, so I searched the bushes for signs of raccoons. For some reason, I just liked those furry creatures, and Lisa was allergic to the fur. We could not even own a dog because of her allergies. There were some funny marks on the ground, which were quite, funny or weird, as the area around the forest did not look like there could have been any bears. I was leaning over those funny marks when Lisa's voice startled me badly. Looking for raccoons? She cried from the door of the RV. Lisa, could you not shake my soul out of my body for once? I was caught red-handed and tried to flip the subject. What's for dinner? My stomach's having World War III. Better eat before it kills me. I rubbed my belly. Hamburgers with a serving of tomato soup, she announced and waited my reaction. Okay. First I yummed and then I gagged. Why do you do this to me? I hate tomatoes. I whined my way to the RV as my flip-flops were smudged with mud all over. We set the chairs and table and ate our dinner under the stars. We dropped dead in bed as our backs were sore due to the long travel. The next morning was eventful as Lisa shook me out of my sleep yelling that someone stole our truck. I stepped out of the RV with my flip-flops caked in mud. Deep tire tracks led out to the main pavement. Lisa stepped out and called for the police. As I was trying to remember that I locked the truck last night just before we went to bed, we heard a young lady yelling from a mobile home. Hey you! Excuse me, you're not gonna get any signals out here. She walked over to us topless and hugged Lisa. Hey there, my name's Denise and I live near with my boyfriend Willie. My wife saw she's pregnant and asked her, how far along till you're due? An older man stepped out of the mobile home laughing.
There's no baby in that fat beer gut.
She pulled off her wig and smacked him across the face.
Please pay my broke-ass boyfriend Willie no attention.
We at the moment forgot what we were doing and tried to comprehend these two. Denise continued.
I know you want to report your truck missing, so let Willie take you in town.
We got back to our senses, and I told Lisa I'd be back, and I'll alert our insurance company and see if they would let us get a rental. Willie took me to town, and Lisa was with Denise. They went into the RV, and Lisa showed her the vehicle. Denise took great interest in the RV.
I've been pestering Willie for a while now to get one too. We've been saving for this too. How do you manage the water?
She was curious, as Lisa told me she examined everything on the RV like a real customer at the showroom.
I hardly stopped myself from offering her a deal.
Lisa tried to be a good host and made Denise feel very welcomed. Somehow, the girl looked familiar. It was Lisa's hint, and I got on board. Back in the neighborhood, there was a young boy, Tommy, and he would sometimes come up to us. He was a kid of the modern age and was always watching something, engrossed in his mobile phone. Well, that very kid used to watch silly videos of a cranky couple who did stupid stuff together. Those two reminded me of that, and it turned out they are actually the same couple. However, we were not sure until Denise told her story to Lisa. She even asked Denise,
You're a very attractive young lady. May I ask the reason why you're bald-headed at such a young age?
Denise explained to Lisa that her boyfriend had swapped out her shampoo for a hair removal product. During that time, Denise and her boyfriend played practical jokes on each other for their YouTube channel, which when it started had 20,000 followers. After finding out that the hair remover permanently damaged her scalp, she had no option but to wear wigs. The girl lost her hair for the views on social media. I could have never thought of such a horrible thing, but those two sure did make an unforgettable first impression on others. No wonder they were famous on YouTube. Denise explained how she once sprayed mace on the toilet seat with a hidden camera in the bathroom, posting it online as her boyfriend tried to recover from his injuries of that incident.
Ouch! Didn't that go too far?
Lisa asked while Denise was fidgeting with her wig until she wore it properly. She set her wig and faced Lisa as she told her that over the years, playing practical jokes and pranks pushed their YouTube subscribers to wanting more, and gradually they hit up to 800,000 subscribers. But there was one secret that this couple kept from us, and it was not well hidden. I reported to the police station, and that went all right. Willie helped me get around town that morning, and in the next few hours, we ended up having breakfast together. They knew the area quite well. Willie told us that they're also tourists and roam these woods each season. Why they would come to the same place each year was certainly not because of the food. That day, I visited the police station many times. The townspeople behaved as if they were a big family living on a very vast ground. The bakers and even the cafe, everybody knew that I had lost my truck, and it was kind of creepy to know. The gazes of all the people that would follow us were robotic in a manner, as if we were the ones to call the robbers. We picked up some gossip too from some of the shops. Lisa and I stayed behind at the baker's shop and chatted a little. Dudley, the baker, told us some stories and legends about the woods. He would talk about the returning of the morbid, man-like creature that came every year and terrorized the woods.
What do you mean each year?
I asked.
Yes, each year, same month. The creature never misses any event, though it hasn't been active many years ago, but for the past few years it has returned.
Dudley lowered his voice with each sentence that increased the overall eerie aura of the conversation. But why? We asked in the same low tone without realizing it.
To kill,
Dudley snapped.
Bigfoot comes to kill and chop off their limbs.
We gasped in sync and left the place after getting the bread. Somehow it gave me a very bad feeling. The thing I had been running away from stood in front of me again.
Why? Why does it have to be a Bigfoot? Why? Aren't I too old for these ironical jokes, Lisa?
I whined my way as we left the store.
Oh, quit whining, Roy Big Benson, she smirked.
We walked to the general store in quick strides so we could tell Denise and Willie about it all. We were in such a hurry that when Lisa opened the door before me, I nearly bumped my head on the side.
Ow! Just don't call my full name, Lisa, for God's sake.
I held my head as we entered the shops. Lisa glided through the store and we found Willie and Denise.
You guys won't believe what we just heard.
Lisa told them everything, while I squirted my nose each time anyone mentioned the name Bigfoot. I regretted being born into the Big Benson family, all the while having huge feet. My mind started playing made-up scenarios about police barging into our RV and putting me in handcuffs and accusing me of being Bigfoot.
Hurry up, you two. We gotta return to the campsite. Also, Officer Jason said he'd visit again today.
I reminded them, and within an hour, we were at our camps. The officer came and told me that they'd traced down our truck. The next day was unusual. Lisa woke me up screaming she had seen Bigfoot outside in the tree line. I walked out and saw a shadowy figure hiding behind the tall grass. The creature disappeared after making a cameo appearance. The next day, I placed 3 bear traps around our RV and some near the tree line. So that's how I got here. You see, I was emotionally offended by all this big mystery, and now I wanted to catch the monster. Therefore, I could finally be at ease with my name as a shoe size. That night, we heard a man hollering and screaming in pain. Denise ran over, smacking our door, yelling,
You fuck Willie up!
Willie crawled from behind the tall tree line with a bear trap clamped onto his lower leg. Denise ran over to Willie with a long pole, trying to free him from the bear trap. Every year during tourist season, Willie would dress up as Bigfoot and try to freak out the tourists that passed through the town. Over the years, they posted up fake Bigfoot conspiracies on YouTube that they made plenty of money on over the years. Lisa and I were flabbergasted over what was in front of us. At the same time, the sheriff pulls up in our pickup truck with a passenger beside him. I was so disappointed about the fake Bigfoot that in my anger, I asked him to arrest them for stalking my wife and me. Willie crawled over in pain, yelling,
You assholes couldn't take a simple joke? Shit, we were just playing.
The sheriff laughed as Denise helped the passenger out of the truck.
How do you find our truck? And who did it?
I asked him. And he told me.
I found the truck parked outside the bar, with Larry's wheelchair in the bed of the truck.
Why's he with you and why haven't you arrested him?
I was still confused.
You see, Mr. Big, Larry has his issues, but we're all family here. So be happy you got your damn truck back in one piece.
He puffed on his cigarette, while Denise took Willie inside for treatment.